Alright, welcome back to Simply Terrifying. This is episode 44. God, is that right? 44. We're almost at the end of week 9, which is insane. And today's episode is called Bullies. Okay? Whether you're a kid or an adult, I'm sure that you have a story somewhere, whether it's yours, whether it's your child's, or someone you know. Crazy. Something about bullies. Okay? Now, I honestly have I do have my own stories, but most recently I've had to deal with my kids having bullies. Now, I know that kids are assholes. Some of them, okay? I know that kids have their own issues. I know that a lot of kids can reflect or just deflect their own shit onto other kids because it takes away from their own problems, right? That's totally fine. My kid, however, is not going to be the doormat for your kid because your kid has shit going on. Like everyone does, right? Like everyone has a life at home. School is hard enough as a kid. And so I don't think that it's fine that your kid can try to push my kid around. That's just not going to happen. So I'm one of those parents where my kid's not going to start the fight. Okay? It's not going to start the fight. But they're also not going to be like, will you please stop pushing me? Will you please? Will you please? Like, say it once or don't say anything at all. Walk away if you need to. But if someone's going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, I'm not raising an asshole myself, but I'm also not raising a doormat because I wouldn't take that shit as an adult, and I damn sure don't want my daughter thinking that it's okay that just because someone else is having a rough life or a rough day that they can go ahead and be however they want to me, and that's totally fine. I just need to sit back and take it. Abso-fucking-lutely not. No. So, how do you deal with bullies? Let's see. Dealing with bullies requires a mix of immediate tactics to disarm the behavior and long-term strategies to protect your well-being. So if it's a mix, what are we working with? You know what I mean? I guess it depends. There are variants of bullies. Okay. Last year, my daughters had interactions with the mean girl bully. Okay? As most girls do. It's just what happens. They get to that age where they're feeling a little bit more ballsy, especially if they're like the head of the monster. You know what I mean? Usually there's a head and a couple of, limbs flanking either side. So this girl already has like a built-in I'm a badass situation because she's got a left and a right hand. Okay, that are kind of like nod along followers. Think Mean Girls, Regina George, and then you got Gretchen and whatever her name is. Yeah, Karen. Okay. So like if they're on the outside, she's the head of it. Like, okay, she can be and say whatever she wants and no consequences, right? Because that's who she is and la-di-da. Well, my daughter kind of had a run-in with a clique like this, and this was 4th grade. Okay, 4th grade. You're fucking 10 years old, keep in mind. What can you do at 10? Well, honestly, enough. Okay, so I've had to have these conversations with my daughter about bullies for many years. Even before she's really started going to school, I just kind of explained that there are going to be people. My daughter's she's very petite, she's very small, she's very sweet, nice, she loves school, she's like always is the one helping out the teacher, whatever, like she's in the gifted program, she's she goes above and beyond a lot of things, a lot of times. Okay, not every kid is like that. That's totally fine. My 2 older daughters, they were like that a little bit in elementary, and then they're just like meh. They do what they have to do, and then it's whatever. But she is like, if there's a group or a project or something to do after school or a performance or whatever, like there's always something. Like there's always something she wants to be involved in. So just to throw it out what kind of person she is. She also helps people. Okay? She has a very kind, giving heart. She's also very sensitive in the fact that like She doesn't want to let anybody down. She doesn't want, she takes a lot of things to heart. And that's something that I've had to work with her on, is like building up that armor, right? Because once upon a time, I was very, very tiny, right? Very, very small. And I loved having a bunch of people like me, and I loved being someone who could get along with everybody and make everyone laugh and all this stuff and be so helpful and be so sweet and nice and all this stuff. Well, eventually people started taking that as I was someone who could just be walked on or pushed over and stuff like that. That didn't feel good. Not to me then. And it just kind of like, why? What am I doing that's making me seem like this is okay? Because I'm not doing this to people. I'm not going out and like being an asshole directly just because, even if I was having a bad day, you know what I mean? So like, why does someone else get to do that to me? I mean, yeah. So then you start layering it on a little bit, and you understand that just because words come out of someone's mouth doesn't mean that they mean anything. Just because someone says it doesn't mean that it's true, and so you kind of you eventually learn to put them in their place and realize that you only feed them with reactions. So if you don't react, then they're going to starve, right? I call it the troll or the monster, whatever. So if you don't feed it, it's going to go somewhere else to get food. That's it, And eventually, like, it'll either knock it the fuck off or it'll just lay down and die. I mean, honestly. So I'm having to tell my daughter, and I try to like put it in ways she understands, right? It started like in 1st and 2nd grade. I'm trying to like be as colorful and playful as I can, like the monster thing. Like, hey, if someone comes up to you and they tell you, you're stupid, is that true because they said it? Like, you're not stupid. Look at all of these things that you've done. Look at all that you do. All of your report card, like obviously you're not stupid. If someone says that you're ugly, do you believe that just because somebody said it? No, of course not. You're absolutely beautiful and everything else. If someone says you're a bully, do you believe that just because they said it? Like, no. So you have to learn to kind of build this thicker skin, which is really, really, really hard to do when you're a soft, warm, loving, sensitive person. Okay? Once upon a time, that was me. Once upon a time, a long time ago. So now when I see my kids start to be that version of me where it was just like, all I wanted to do was go in and just, knock some kids around. Obviously I can't do that. So I have to she has to stand up for herself, right? And I have to help her along the way. So yeah, so here's some in the moment fixes, okay, for immediate responses. Keep your cool. Bullies thrive on getting a reaction. I love when I say things before I read them here. It's awesome. Staying calm and unemotional takes away their reward. So, I tell my daughter all the time, look, if somebody says something, you can pretend that they don't exist. I mean, you can look directly through them. They won't like it, and it's not particularly nice, but like, if someone gets on my fucking nerves, who? What? Like, what'd you hear? I didn't hear anything. Kind of deal. And that sounds really childish and everything, but nothing pisses off somebody more trying to get that rise out of you and you just not giving a single flying fuck, okay? It is, even as an adult, there are some bitches who still try to work their shit, and if you don't play the game, they get really upset. And it's really awesome, actually. But hey, use the gray rock method. Not sure what that is. Become as boring as a gray rock. Okay? Use short, neutral responses like, whatever, okay, or I'm not interested in this. Okay, so I don't call it that. It's really weird, actually. Go be a rock. Just remember, be a rock. No, I don't want her to just feel like the invisible one. You know what I mean? But the next one is laugh it off. Okay, if you can, use humor to show the insult didn't land. Some experts suggest laughing as if they've just told a joke, then walking away, which I've told her to do that too. And she has a couple times. And, yeah, it's just something about them, because they're not ready for it, right? It like rattles them and makes them completely uncomfortable. Adults are the same way. If an adult is trying to make someone feel uncomfortable or less than, and if that person actually says something back and starts laughing, or even better, makes someone else laugh at that person is going to feel so fucking rocked and just annoyed. They're not going to know what to do with themselves a lot of the time. Because a lot of them walk in like hot shit Regina George, and they just expect that what they say is the law of the land, and like, there it is. Everyone agrees with me, blah, blah, blah. It's when people start not nodding along like senseless sheep and kind of putting the mirror back on them where they're like, hey, I don't like this. Now, I'm not going to tell my daughter to be like, if someone says that you're ugly, be like, well, I'm not as ugly as you, you know, whatever. I'm not saying to be that bully and turn it around like that, okay? But here's the thing. I'm also not telling her that she's not allowed to stand up for herself if she starts to get in a position where other things may happen, okay? So let's say someone comes up to my daughter and says something to her. She's like, yeah, okay, and then turns around and walks away. Let's say this little motherfucker comes up and shoves my daughter from behind. What do? What does she do? It's going to take a lot, in my mind, for her to not, like, immediately break down. But I'm, like, telling her constantly, if something like that ever happened, you don't, even then, you know, if someone puts hands on you, first, especially, okay, you can go ahead, turn around, and put a hand right back. And I don't care who disagrees with that. Because my kid, I have seen kids get shoved around back in my time. I was even shoved around back in my time. There was a time where I had to be dropped off at one school. I had to walk through that school to get to my babysitter's house, okay? So here I am. I'm 7 years old. I'm very, very tiny. And I have a backpack and a lunchbox. I am a tiny, petite little person walking all by myself. There's nobody in these halls. School's over. I'm walking through this school. I have to walk through like one L-shaped hallway and then out the door. That's all I have to do. I'm going, minding my own business. I'm all alone in this fucking hallway. And then I stop and get a drink at a drinking fountain. Okay? Out of nowhere, somebody grabs my ponytail, lifts my head up, and smashes it down into the drinking fountain. Now I can taste blood because my lip is cut. And I don't know what the hell is happening, because here I am, tiny 7-year-old, and what is happening? Like, this has never happened to me before. I turn around and there's 2 kids, 2 boys, okay? Same grade as me, but bigger than me. One is laughing his ass off, okay? Chunky shorts in the background. And then the other one is smiling because he was the one who grabbed my head. Okay, he's the one who grabbed my hair, picked me up, slammed me down into the thing. And then he proceeds to try to take my backpack away. Well, it's hooked on my arm. And so I'm holding on for dear life, and I'm like, stop. I'm yelling at him to stop, don't do that, like, leave me alone. And then the other kid comes and takes my lunchbox that was hanging off my other arm, whatever, rips it off, and then kid number 1 smacks me on the head with my own fucking lunchbox. Are you kidding me? Like, what is happening? If you're a kid that has never been in a situation like that, it's fucking terrifying, okay? I couldn't imagine my daughter now at 11 even going through this situation. And it's crazy because there are no teachers around. There's nobody. I'm like saying, no, stop, like, leave me alone. Like, I just keep saying the same thing. Well, there were 3 steps that we had to go up, and he's still trying to get my bag. It's still hooked on my arm. I'm holding on for dear life. So he tries to jerk it. I end up hitting my head on 2 of the 3 cement steps as he drags me up. And then again, he eventually like rips it away from me, breaks my fucking book bag strap, and then like hurls it around so it smacks me in the fucking face. He runs outside with my backpack, opens it up, and starts throwing all my papers and my work and everything all over the yard of this fucking school. I go to the door, and like by now these two motherfuckers are running away, and I can still taste blood on my lip, like my head fucking hurts. I don't know what the fuck just happened. I lean against a tree outside, and I just start crying, and I like slump down to the ground, and I just like, everything hurts, I'm fucking scared. Like all I did was walk and stop and get a drink. That's all I did. And here I am against a tree, and my babysitter's daughter, which I did not like at all, comes up to me out of nowhere, because I guess I hadn't made it to her house in time, I don't know, but she comes across the street from where her house is, and she's like, "Are you okay?" What? That interaction. Oh, clearly hasn't said. It's a core memory in there. Like, vivid details to this day. Like, so many times I wish I could step into a memory as an adult and just grab that little prick and just fucking, I think he had like a ponytail too. I would grab that bitch and just swing him around and slam him into the locker. Like, ooh, it makes me so angry. And so when my kids come home and they have their own stories, right, of these little bitches and little assholes at school, you just like, I get that people have shit going on, and kids especially, sometimes they don't have a safe place, and sometimes all they can do is fucking show out, okay? But my kid is not going to be this fucking sponge that's soaking up all of your kids' assholishness just because he's having a tough time. I don't give a fuck. So I tell my kids, if someone ever puts hands on you, fucking hit them back. Okay? And if someone keeps pushing you, if they just won't fucking give up, and you've kept your cool, and you've walked away, even if you've told somebody and they still come up to you, go ahead and let them know some fucking way that you're done. You're done. Okay? Laughing it off, stating a clear boundary, walking away, all of these things are great. All of them are great. But some bullies are so fucking relentless, and they just don't give a shit. They don't care. They don't have that, this is wrong, maybe I shouldn't be doing this situation. They just don't have that fucking filter. Which is fine, you know, if that's what they have to do. I wish it's something that I could just eradicate, right? I wish it's something that my kids never had to deal with in the same respect. It doesn't stop when you leave school. There's always some form, right? There's always some level of bully, even in the adult world. Like, you're not safe anywhere. So the sooner you get to leveling up your armor, if you will, okay, and practicing all of these things and really making it clear that you're not a fucking snack for that monster. Period. Like, this is not not gonna happen here. The sooner you can do that and actually believe it now. Because, I mean, I've seen some, like, I am not scared, okay? And they're, like, fucking trembling. Like, okay, like, we get it, but you need to, like, buckle down, be serious, everything else. Like, you don't sink to their level. You don't blame yourself. You don't keep it a secret, because that just lets them go on to someone else, okay? But you also don't break down and feel bad and excuse. You definitely don't fucking excuse. Because here's the thing. Every motherfucker out there, be it a kid or an adult, we all have tough days. We all have shitty circumstances sometimes. We all have major grief or anxieties or whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. If I can't go out and punch a random guy in the face because I got cut off in traffic, or, you know, someone took my last order of whatever, like, if I can't go out and do that, then no one else should be able to do it either, right? It's not okay. It's just not okay. Some things you just have to deal with. Okay? So if you have somebody in your life who has a bully problem, and you're their safe space, if you're the one that they're telling, or even if you think it sounds like a bully thing and they don't, like, there are signs, there are red flags and stuff. And some people are just so completely passive that they don't even realize. Okay? But if you think that something is happening or whatever, like, please reach out to your friend or your family or your child or whatever. Just let it be known that there are ways to stop this shit, but you have to be consistent and you have to actually believe what you're saying. So, like I tell my daughter, you are not going to be someone's fucking snack. That's it. You're not going to be their doormat, their punching bag. You're not going to be the fucking troll's feast. Okay, that's it. So, just keep your armor up. It sucks. Part of life, one of them things. But hey, this has been episode 44. I know we kind of stretched it out there and I apologize. Oh, sometimes I just get going, you know. So anyway, so thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that fun shit. And we will see you next time. Have a great day. Oh, bullies. Did the two hands again. What can you do?